children. My name is Jane Coley and I'm here from the Irish Animal Health. And I'm here today just to reiterate how important it is to worm your pets. As you can see, you all have dogs, some of you have cats as well. And do you know why we worm our pets as routinely as we do?
Because there's a little virus, isn't there?
Yes. Some worms can be zoonotic, which means that they can affect human health. You should be worming them minimum of every 3 months. In certain scenarios, if there's a higher level of risk, you would worm more routinely, you would worm monthly or 6 weekly. Like, there's lots of worms that can affect the health of your dog and cat. And these are just some of them: roundworm, tapeworm, hookworm, heartworm, lungworms. Probably younger dogs, kittens and puppies are more susceptible. This particular worm here, roundworm, if any of you had new young puppies here with you today, you would be worming very routinely, because puppies can actually be born with these worms. They're passed from the placenta to the pups 3 weeks before the bitch pups, and also passed via the milk. So these particular worms can affect the health of your dogs and cats. In young dogs and puppies, or in young puppies, diarrhea, vomiting, their intestine can be blocked. They can actually die from worms. Older dogs, how old are your? 3. And your dogs?
10 and 6.
Okay, so older dogs mightn't show any clinical signs that they have worms. If you see your dog scratching, what you say, please, have to get a flea product. But we don't always see worms in our dog. They might look and appear perfectly healthy, but they could be passing out huge numbers of worms in their feces. And that's why we poop or scoop and we clean up after our dogs, because if you have children, grandchildren, kids in the neighbourhood, different worms can affect human health, and one of them is the roundworm. A 5-year-old child doesn't know that if they drop their lollipop on the ground, that they don't pick it up and put it back in their mouth straight away, or that if they're playing in the sandpit, where the cat also likes to use as his own private toilet, that they need to wash their hands. Because if there's eggs in the environment and the child picks them up on their hand, puts their hand to their mouth, these larvae can migrate to the back of the eye and cause ocular blindness. So really that's why we worm as regularly as we do, not just for the health of our dog and cat, but also for human health. Tapeworm can also affect your animals. I'm sure you've heard a little bit about lungworm recently. So if you notice, the snails and slugs in your garden, if you notice a change of behaviour in your dogs, or that they're suddenly coughing, or that if you have them out walking and they have to cuff themselves and bleeding doesn't stop, you need to bring them down to Annette straight away, and she will treat them with the most suitable medication for them. So in terms of worms, simple kind of steps to help you prevent the spread of worms. We want to reduce environmental contamination. So by worming your dog, they're not going to be passing and your cat, of course, they're not going to be passing as many worms out into the environment. If there's not as many worms in the environment, if your neighbour has a dog, dogs next door, the whole contamination isn't going to be as large. Poop or scooping, I'm sure when you go walking you all bring pooper bags. That's very important. Washing your hands. A lot of us don't realise that most dogs, 25% of dogs actually have taxicara in their coat, eggs, because what does the dog do in the garden? Get down and roll around. He doesn't know if there's worm contamination in the garden. So we're all going to be washing our hands before we touch our dog again. But they are quite gruesome, and it is vitally important that you do worm your pets regularly. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.